how these folks your name. Emotional. I don't think they heard you, man. Emotional. Who's the best rapper around? Emotional. Who's the new killer in town?
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Emotional. We are back for another Ren video. This is chapter 2. So y'all said if I want to learn more about Ren to watch these all the way through. So we about to go ahead and get into the next chapter. Let's go. Okay, footwear.
A year of living in a nightmarish purgatory does strange things to your psyche. I was still trying to push through university, but I found myself missing many lectures to stay in bed. I started noticing more unusual symptoms creeping in, a strange buzzing sensation in the soles of my feet. My vision started looking like fuzzy television static, something that I later learned was called visual snow, something with no known origin. My calf muscles started constantly twitching and spasming. At any moment they wouldn't go longer than 20 seconds without twitching, and that can drive you a bit nuts. All these symptoms I still live with to this day. You just become very used to tolerating constant discomfort. It becomes kind of the norm and kind of becomes like an annoying, unsettling radio static in the background of existence. I stopped taking my antidepressants after having cycled many different kinds. None of them helped. All of them gave me some new kind of symptom or side effect like insomnia, dry mouth, heart palpitations, no libido, etc. I spent a lot of my time alone.
Quick question. Have any of y'all ever dealt with like the antidepressants thing? Cause it sounds like it's a lot to deal with. Cause I know a few people that have dealt with it, but like, have any of y'all dealt with it? What was your experience like if you have dealt with it? Let me bring it back though. And that heart palpitations is so annoying, so annoying.
Still live with to this day. You just become very used to tolerating constant discomfort. It becomes kind of the norm and kind of becomes like an annoying, unsettling radio static in the background of existence. I stopped taking my antidepressants after having cycled many different kinds. None of them helped. All of them gave me some new kind of symptom or side effect like insomnia, dry mouth, heart palpitations, no libido, etc. I spent a lot of my time alone, but in the moments of respite I'd hang out with friends. We formed a band called Trick the Fox the year before I'd gotten sick. It was the one ray of sunshine I had at the time. I quickly became friends with a bass player called Charlie, and we developed some kind of musical telepathy where we both knew what the other was going to play before it even happened. It was the first musician I've ever felt this kind of chemistry with. I became a kind of third wheel in his Momoko's relationship. With time, Momoko became like a sister to me. To this day, it's one of my favourite people on this spinning rock. Performing with Trick the Fox was one of the rare times that I felt free. There was something about the duty of having to entertain others that let me escape the physical limitations of my own sick body, even if just for a moment. I usually pay for it the next day with what can only be described as an energy hangover where I'd be stuck in bed all day, but for me that was worth it. Those days I was still fairly functional. It was around this time I started losing faith in the medical industry. The more appointments I'd go to, adamant that something was wrong, the more of a hypochondriac they treat me as. Medical gaslighting is a real thing with chronic illness. They chalk me down as someone who was always requesting blood tests, and my mental health diagnosis probably didn't help that. Strangely, they never tested me for any kind of pathogens. I decided to embark on a precarious journey into the Russian roulette chamber of Dr. Google. I would type in the most predominant symptom of the day, and Dr. Google would tell me that I have a rare disease and I'm probably going to die. With time,
Oh my gosh, bro. I'm so glad I'm not the only person that does that. But at the same time, it's like Google always do that. They always show you the craziest thing. It's like, I think when I first found out I was dealing with the heart palpitations thing, right? I didn't know what it was at first. I didn't know what that was until I went to the doctor and they said, okay, this is what you're dealing with. And I was like, oh, okay. Because Google made it seem like I was dealing with some type of like cancer or something crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like they make it seem like, but I guess, I don't know. I guess maybe I chunk it up to like, you know, maybe I'm typing in the wrong stuff or something. I don't know. But I guess it's like, it's kind of hard to like, I guess, I don't really know how to explain it. I guess like when you don't fully understand what's going on with your body, but then it's kind of like you don't really know what to type in. I don't know. But it's like Google will definitely give you like the craziest thing especially if you don't really know what you're looking for, I guess. At least that's how it's been for me anyway. But like Dr. Google is like the worst. I ain't gonna lie, I think Dr. Google is like the worst doctor ever if you don't know what you're looking for. But bro, Dr. Google get on my nerves, bro. Dr. Google gets on my nerves.
I sharpened my search engine axe and refined what I was looking for. I dived headfirst into the abyss of online support groups, hoping to find solace or answers amongst fellow sufferers. We were like crabs in a barrel. Very rarely someone would find their silver bullet and announce what it was that cured them. Hundreds of people would follow their protocol, some with mild success, but most of us will still remain trapped. I joined as many online support groups as I could. It was a bit like the beginning of Fight Club, except instead of faking conditions to feel accepted, I was desperately hoping I had those conditions so I could cure myself and get the fuck out. I convinced myself I had conditions like candida, magnesium deficiency, parasites, adrenal fatigue, heavy metal poisoning, etc. At the time, I felt like I was single-handedly keeping Jeff Bezos in business. While most students were spending their student loan on drinks, I'd spend mine on the supplement or protocol of the week. I'd follow whatever herbal or supplement protocol was suggested, sometimes noticing mild improvement and sometimes getting a lot worse, most of the time feeling nothing. A story would pop up on one of these groups like, after I did a 30-day parasite cleanse of wormwood, cloves and garlic, all my symptoms disappeared. I'd read a story like this, get full of hope and put myself through a grueling 30 days, which would often result in a worsening of symptoms. My body felt even sicker and weaker, but I'd stick it out because I was told that this was a good sign. The parasites are dying. I peered into the toilet bowl and valiantly waved goodbye as I flushed their imaginary corpses into a watery abyss. At the end of the 30 days, I'd be left with a lighter wallet and all my symptoms still remaining. And if that didn't work, I'd move on to what was next. Maybe I have seasonal affective disorder. Alright, so I'd get on the internet, order a light, stare at it for 10 minutes a day, and to my big fucking surprise, still have all my symptoms. The only thing that light illuminated for me was that I was desperate enough to buy a glorified table lamp. I kid you not when I say that over the years I probably have taken nearly every dietary health supplement known to man.
The Family Guy
One of the most
clip.
grueling self-treatment courses came when I did a round-the-clock heavy metal chelation. I would take a supplement called ALA and DMSA, which supposedly shuttled mercury molecules out of your body through a process called chelation. I would have to take the pill once every 3 hours around the clock, which meant setting multiple alarm clocks to wake up and take them. The supplements came with their own side effects. I remember one time standing in a supermarket and feeling like the sounds and lights were so bright that I couldn't even bear to be in there. I stopped with this protocol for a whole year with no luck. I was still coming to terms with the death of one of my best friends during this time too. I was too sick to hold
I forgot in chapter 1 he talked about his friend dying. Joe, right? I think it was Joe. The thought of going through all of this stuff, like with your own like medical stuff, you know what I'm saying? Trying to figure out what's going on with your body and so on and so forth. And then trying to balance losing your friend the way that you did. It's like, I couldn't even imagine going through that. Especially like to the lengths that he felt like he had to go. And I really respect the fact that he's really willing to tell us these stories. Because in a real sense, he don't have to. He doesn't have to do that. But I think that's one of the things that makes us love him as an individual, but also love his music too. Because it's like, how many people are really willing to be this open? You get what I mean? Like, you talk about your friend, you talk about your own internal battles while still mourning that situation. I ain't gonna lie, bro is a really strong individual and probably stronger than he probably think. Because I ain't gonna lie, bro, you a blessing, brother. You are a blessing because again, the fact that you're willing to be this open is crazy because there's not too many people in this field that you feel like if I met this person, he would be the same person online that he is off. You get what I mean? Because it's like, how many people would you say that you see in this internet space that you feel like would genuinely be the same person off? Because honestly, from what I've observed, it's only maybe a few. I'm not gonna lie. It's only a few that I really think would really be how they are online off. And he's one of those people.
Down any kind of stable job, so I was mostly living off my student loan. Welsh students study in England also weirdly get given a small sum of money just for being Welsh, or almost like a "we're really sorry that you're Welsh" sort of condolence prize. I've always prided myself on my financial independence, so whenever I could, I'd get out on the streets of Bath and I'd busk. I remember the very first time I did. I had my guitar in hand, I perched myself on a bench, took a deep breath, and then bared my soul to the jury of the street, and it was exhilarating. People sometimes ask me what music means to me, and it means life. This was usually the one time I felt like I didn't want to die. This was the one time I could feel a resemblance of something that resembled spirit, that resembled my soul, that resembled me. I even found myself cracking jokes with onlookers, which for someone dripping with social anxiety at the time was huge for me. It was March, roughly 3 months after Joe had died, and I was sitting on a bench in Bath with my guitar singing into a busy street. And this is when I would meet the first angel of this story. I'd see 2 more angels years later, one in the guise of a homeless man, one a doctor cheating death in the Beverly Hills clinic, but that bit will come a little bit later. The angel was walking on the opposite side of the street with a mother. They both stopped to watch me for a moment. I saw her mum whisper something to her. The angel turned bright red and she giggled, and they shyly approached. We got talking and the angel asked where I was from. I told her that I grew up in Wales in a small village that was once described in a local newspaper as being worse than an Iraqi war scene. I told them they would have never heard of it. They looked surprised and they said they had family there. I asked which part, and it turned out to be the village that I grew up in. Since you can basically count a population of 2 intergenerationally bred mutated hands, I asked who they were, and it turned out that that angel happened to be Joe's cousin. This encounter was always a foundational moment of serendipity in my life. In the years that followed, I took serendipitous occasions to mean I was in line with my purpose. Sometimes I felt like I'm following a script. It's just that I don't know the words or actions until they actually happen. But in moments of serendipity, I feel like they are playing out exactly as they were meant to. It was quite a bizarre moment for me, that hundreds of miles away by chance this angel would be related to my lost friend. Upon learning who I was, they invited me back to theirs for a cup of tea, and I accepted and I fell in love. It was really good tea. That week, the angel took me to a favourite botanical garden, and she pointed out a favourite flower. So that night, true story, I dressed in black, broke in by climbing over the fence, dug up the flower and presented it to her the next day. She called me insane, but it's safe to say that angel ended up being my first serious girlfriend. It was a weird kind of relationship. We both shared an unusual trauma for people who were so young, brought together by a tragedy. Even though sometimes I feel like she might have hated me at the time, I was convinced like it was some sort of Shakespearean fate that had brought us together. A morbidity that birthed light, that it couldn't be anything else. It felt like divine intervention. She was pretty troubled in her own way, and I was very troubled in mine. But in between the sludge of dealing with the constant symptoms, it was beautiful. That summer, her parents took us to Centre Parks, which is a posher version of Butlins, if you don't know, where they paid for all the activities and meals, and they let me do whatever I wanted. Coming from a poorer family, I wasn't really used to being spoiled to that degree, but I figured I'd just roll with it. One morning while I was there, I got a call from my friend Sega, and he sounded pretty mixed up, so I asked him what was wrong. He told me that there was no easy way to say it, but one of my other best friends, Callum, had died. He'd gone cliff jumping in the same cliffs we used to jump off as kids. The sea was particularly choppy that day, and he caught a cross current and he started to drown. Another guy that he was with had jumped in an attempt to save him, and they both drowned.
That's tough.
The first day I met Callum, I was 11. He was in a year above me in high school and used to walk around with these massive baggy bright orange jeans. He hung around with all the goth kids and I thought they looked super cool. So the next day I painted my nails black and fashioned a necklace out of a severed extension cable from an old VCR machine. I infiltrated the group and I gained their trust. Not long after, me and Callum were friends, wandering around beautiful Welsh countryside looking for the most scenic places to smoke weed. We stayed friends throughout high school and I truly loved him. When Callum died, I couldn't properly grieve. I felt weirdly numb after losing Joe. I'd often feel guilty for my inability to cry at the time. A couple of years later, I'd learned another friend of mine that I used to play function gigs with had thrown himself off a cliff face in Dover. And again, I felt numb. I couldn't tell if this new acceptance of the inevitability of death was a beautifully liberating thing, or if it was a sign that my humanity was slipping away. To this day, death has kind of remained a bit of a matter-of-fact part of my life. During my years of sickness, I had to crawl through a morbid longing to be killed by my illness to find a more peaceful acceptance that death is just an inevitable consequence of life, and it doesn't spare anyone. That never left, and I haven't ever really been scared of dying since. Some days I've tempted it. What I'm more scared of is having to live my whole life as a sick person. In my relationship with death, the most healing moment occurred just 2 years ago. My grandmother, who I loved to pieces, was dying, but I actually got the chance to say goodbye this time, to hold her hand, to thank her for being alive. I remember not long before she passed, she was lying in the hospital bed, and she was very weak and very pale, barely able to open her eyes. I asked how she was, and it seemed like a stupid question as soon as it left my mouth. She paused for a long moment, and she turned her head to look at me, and she opened her eyes, and she smiled, and she said she felt happy. And it was just one word, happy, which was simple and it was beautifully profound. And that was one time I'd gotten a chance to say goodbye. And it was the first time that I hoped that one day I would die happy. The following year, I would achieve something beyond my wildest dreams, and then I would lose it almost as soon as it came. Stay tuned for that.
I don't wanna hear no words today, because they pull me under.
I haven't heard
The
this.
castle in my room, I'll hide away from the outside thunder. Gonna lock my troubles outside of this door, 'cause today it's just me and these four walls. I said I wanna run away, fly to another place, fly to another place, say oh. Said I wanna run away, fly to another place, fly to another place. The light that I hold, it turns to grey, and that makes me wonder, will I always feel this way? So far under, but I put my soul on show for everyone to see, 'cause even though it's bruised, I know it holds such beauty. I said I wanna run away, fly to another place, fly to another place, say oh. I said I wanna run away, fly to another place, fly to another place. Nobody here but me today, but that makes me stronger, 'cause I wash away the pain under sheets of feather. Gonna lock my troubles outside of this door, 'cause today it's just me and these four walls. I said I wanna run away, fly to another place, fly to another place, say oh. I said I wanna run away, fly to another place, fly to another place, say oh. I said I wanna run away, fly to another place, fly to another place, say oh. I said I wanna run away, fly to another place, fly to another place. I crave relief in solitude. I search for peace, but pain pursues. Please something, just free me, give me some truth. My head is a prison, I need to move. I said I wanna run away, fly to another place, fly to another place, say oh. I said I wanna run away, fly to another place, fly to another place. I said I wanna run away, fly to another place, fly to another place, say oh. I said I wanna run away, fly to another place, fly to another place. I said I wanna run, I said I wanna run, I said I wanna run, yeah oh. I said I wanna run, I said I wanna run, I said I wanna run, yeah oh. I said I wanna run away, fly to another place, fly to another place, yeah oh. I said I wanna run away, fly to another place, fly to another place.
Oh. Okay. So, one, how many of y'all have ever felt like that? Well, I know, I'm pretty sure a lot of us have, because I ain't gonna lie, I felt like that last night. Because it's like some things that I never thought I would have experienced, but it was like, how can I explain it? It's a change going on in my life, and I'm kind of learning how to, everything that I thought I knew, I really didn't know, if that makes sense. It's like, I'm gonna just be honest, it's like God is changing my views on a lot of things. It's like things that I thought I understood and things that I thought that I understood about myself, I really didn't understand. It's like I'm learning to love people on another level. But at the same time, it's like I'm asking for direction. And then it was like, in me asking for direction, it was strange because it was like God telling me to like let him handle it. And I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, it threw me off, but it's just like, as I'm listening to his stuff, it's like, I felt like maybe, like, do I really want to run away? But then it's like, no, I don't. Not from the situation that I'm in, but it's like, I felt like that. And then it's like, it's interesting, and kind of transitioning back to the video, it's kind of like, it's just, it's interesting, one, to see like the progression of him, not just from like a health standpoint, but also from like a success standpoint, because it's like, dag, like this is really like what you were going through at this point in time, and now you are where you are. And I think isn't he in a better space health wise too? Correct me if I'm wrong or let me know. But it was like, it really, I ain't gonna lie, the thing for me that I get from this, like just from like the first 2 chapters that we've done, it gives you a sense of hope and a sense of like, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, basically. Because it's like, we all got our own individual traumas. And it's one of those things that it shows me that we really do need each other. As much as like, I prefer to be a lone wolf at certain times, it's like life is showing me like, we need each other more than we think we do. We don't necessarily have to be friends with everybody, but at the same time, it's like, now I understand more about the love thing. Like, we're supposed to love each other. We don't necessarily have to like everybody. And it's like, dag, like, it's so many things. Like I said, it's so many things that I thought I understood and I don't understand. Like, I really thought I understood more about myself, because even my likes and dislikes are changing. And it's kind of like I'm getting more and more protective of my peoples, if you get what I mean. I don't understand why that is, but I guess it's just me and my love growing, I guess. Especially like internally. But it's like, it's strange how life works. And it's like, this right here is showing me like, life will progress if you keep going. Life will get better if you keep going. And I think no matter where you are in your life, whether you're down, like you're sick or something, or you're just like going through stuff mentally or emotionally and spiritually and stuff like that, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but you gotta be there for it. I hope that makes sense. But it's like, it's just so much to really digest for real. Like, it's just interesting knowing that bro done been through so much and overcame so much. Because again, like, to go through your own physical ailments while still balancing the mourning of your friend, and then you're losing more and more people as it keeps going. That brother's strong. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Even in your weakness as a man, fellas, like even in your moments where you don't feel like being weak or you don't want to appear weak, I think the more like we actually show, especially our peoples around us, like, yo, like, I get weak too, bro. I'm not Clark Kent. I'm not Superman, my dog. I'm not Wolverine. I'm not the Hulk. I have my weak moments. Even like, matter of fact, even in I think it was Infinity War, matter of fact, Hulk showed his weakness, because you thinking Hulk is always Hulk smash, strong, this, that, and the third. But then he ran into Thanos, and then it's like, yo, like, bro's actually scared. You get what I mean? Because you think the Hulk ain't scared of nothing. But then it's like, showing your weakness actually shows how strong you are, if you get what I mean. Now, I'm not going to say tell everybody your business, like the deep, dark stuff that's between you and God. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's not, I don't think everybody should know like every last detail, if that makes sense. Like the stuff that's between like the stuff that you, well, actually, let me say it like this. Everybody can't handle your story. That's the thing I think that's what I'm trying to say. I'm learning that everybody can't handle your story, maybe necessarily when you want to tell them, if that makes sense. I really hope I'm making sense, but it's like listening to him, it's like, I really respect the transparency though. I respect it, and I salute you for it, because it's like, it shows you that everybody's going through their own thing, especially when you think you're the only one going through something. I think that's the biggest thing for me. Like, I really respect this man right here. Not even like, honestly, the music is honestly like second. The person is who I respect the most. You get what I mean? I love the fact that bro is like as transparent as he is. I keep saying that because it's like, I'm not even gonna say transparent. I'm gonna say naked, because that's really the word that I need to say, because it's like, there's nothing in the way. There's nothing he's hiding. There's nothing that's in the way of like, you know what I'm saying, really understanding it, if that makes sense. So I really do respect this man for who he is and what he's saying and his openness, especially on such a big platform. You get what I mean? Especially to not be afraid of being judged and what have you. I respect bro. But I'm finna get up out of here, y'all. Peace easy, baby. Lay out.